Jackson Smith and his partner Amanda Wallace worked for a small organization in Kentucky that focused on paranormal investigations. They became famous for documenting abandoned buildings and investigating strange occurrences. But one of their experiences became a legend that they were careful never to discuss. In February 2019, they received a letter from a woman named Marilyn Hayes. She claimed that something inexplicable was happening in her old house on the outskirts of a small town. Sounds of footsteps, whispers behind the walls, objects that moved on their own. She inherited the house and was going to sell it, but potential buyers were fleeing after their first visit. Jackson and Amanda decided to take the case. They arrived in the evening as the sun was setting behind the hills, coloring the sky with blood-red hues. The house looked like something out of a horror movie. A two-story structure with peeling paint, a creaking door, and broken windows in the attic. As soon as they stepped inside, Amanda felt strangely cold, as if the temperature had dropped several degrees. Jackson had set up cameras and instruments to record electromagnetic bursts. "It's just old wiring," he tried to reassure Amanda, but he himself noticed how strangely the arrows on the instruments shook. As night fell, they began to hear strange rustling noises. Amanda noticed that the sound was coming from the locked pantry in the kitchen. Jackson, armed with a flashlight, approached cautiously. He tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Suddenly something hit the door from the inside with force. Both of them recoiled. "There's obviously someone in here," Amanda whispered. They decided to call Marilyn to find out more about the history of the house. The woman reluctantly admitted that her grandfather, the owner of the house, had disappeared years ago. Neighbors said he was involved in dark practices and one day he was simply gone. Amanda suggested exploring the basement where an old staircase covered in cobwebs led. Once down, they found strange symbols on the walls, remnants of candles, and an old wooden chest. Amanda opened it, and inside was a tattered diary. On the first few pages were Marilyn's grandfather's entries where he mentioned communicating with spirits from beyond the veil. The last entry read, "I opened the door, but something came out." At that moment, there was another rumble from the upstairs storage room. Jackson and Amanda ran upstairs, but as soon as they opened the pantry door, an unnatural coldness enveloped them. The lanterns went out, and in the darkness came a voice whispering, "You're staying too." The next day, Marilyn returned to the house to meet Jackson and Amanda, but found only their equipment. The researchers had disappeared without a trace. The house has stood empty ever since. Locals claim that two new voices are now heard in it, a male and a female calling someone by name.